Hey guys, welcome to The Identity Shift. Hey guys, welcome back to another week with Tia Upshaw and my newest podcast called The Identity Shift. And I have the great opportunity to talk to Felicia Smart with EMSOL Consulting, which is her business, literally. And I'm excited because Felicia is just about to graduate from Black Women in Excellence 16-week startup. And I've been watching her grow over the last 16 weeks to what you guys are going to be able to witness in a few minutes. Welcome, Felicia. How are you, darling?
Hi, Tia. I'm doing fine. I'm so happy to be here with you this morning. How are
Well,
you?
thank you. And your face look you didn't look like that last night. Like you look real pretty today.
Yeah, I tried this morning.
Oh wow. Skin is glowing, like you look good, you look good. So let the listeners and your viewers know what MSO Consulting is and a little bit about who Felicia Smart is, because they're probably like, who's this girl?
Okay, yeah. So I'm Felicia. I'm originally from the Caribbean, Trinidad
Of
and
course.
Tobago. Yes. And EMSOL Consulting is a brand management agency dedicated to helping excellent Caribbean product-based businesses launch, sell, and scale in Canada.
Girl, I love that pitch. What? Okay, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. And Felicia, what made you want to start this?
So I, when I lived in the Caribbean, I also had a product-based business, and I felt it was excellent. I had a medical skincare brand, and I tried to grow the business outside of the region, and I got so many barriers. I was
Yeah.
stuck in so many ways, and I realized that as I was working through these challenges, many other brands might be facing this challenge. So when I got to Canada, I felt, you know what, let me extend a hand back and help those brands that might be able to compete in this market actually get here.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense, and I can see how that would be. I mean, there's more than one barrier. There's more than five barriers with being in that position. And when you came to Canada, where are you located at now?
So I'm in Alberta, in Calgary, Alberta.
She is like West Coast guys, East Coast, West Coast collides today. Um, I know a lot about the business and what you're doing, but when you first decided to support the exporting industry, I guess importers, exporters, what were some of the initial steps that you had to take to even start doing something like this? Because for me as a business owner, if I was starting something like that, I'd be just like, geez, where did I start? So where did you start?
Yeah, what I did, my first thing, I went back to my challenges that I faced when I was trying to export out of the Caribbean into North America, and I listed all of the problems that I faced. And then I tried to figure out what is the solution to all of these problems, and can I find those solutions and package it and sell it back to others here in Canada. And I had to work through this list of trying to figure out, can
Yeah.
I really find a solution to these problems? And it was a lot of research. I spent a lot of time trying to understand the Canadian regulations because we need to do
Completely
ethical
different.
business, right? We need to make sure we comply with the laws of the land. So I spent a lot of time really doing research and trying to figure out, can I really actually do this for someone else? So it's a lot of reading, it's a lot of persistence when you get stuck trying to find answers, reaching out to the agencies, the relevant government
Yeah.
agency. There's a lot of networking, trying to get connected with the right persons to be able to get information about border access controls and regulations. It's been
That's a
intense.
lot. That's a lot. Like I see, I have patience, but something like that when I'm trying to work with government and trying to get information, that would drive me absolutely nuts. Now, you were just talking about, you had a problem that you want to fix. But I'm going to take it a next step further. Why do you think it's crucial that your type of business it should be implemented to, offer the importing exporting between, West or, Caribbean or, the African continents? Why do you think this is crucial and very important?
It's important because EMSOL focuses on the food and beverage industry as well as personal care, so packaged consumer goods really. And if we were to look at food, for example, the level of investment Caribbean brands need to make in order to satisfy food safety requirements and have world-class food manufacturing facilities, it's a large investment.
Oh my God.
And the size of the population that they serve makes it so difficult to recoup that investment or make that investment worthwhile. So for me, I think opening up markets for these brands with a share market size that is m- many times the size of the populations in the Caribbean, for example, it's so life changing for these brands because there's so many more customers they can reach. There's so much more revenue they can generate, and it makes the investment that they had to make their facilities comply with international food safety requirements worthwhile.
My God. As soon as you're talking about comply and you're talking about these manufacturers, so when you're working in different countries, different Caribbean, like you are looking at different rules and regulations, girl, for each every one of them on compliances.
Yeah. So I've been a little bit more about me. I've been a consultant in risk and compliance
We love
in
them. We
my
love you. We
professional.
love risk and compliance people. Yes.
Yes, over 15 years I've been doing this with the public accounting firms between KPMG and PwC. So I am used to, I've been a senior business advisor for quite a few years,
Yeah.
and I'm really used to digging through risk and trying to identify roadmaps and strategic plans to help mitigate risk. So
Yeah.
I would have used my past experience, professional designation and qualifications and married it with my passion for helping brands grow. So it's a bit of a blend, but it works for now.
It absolutely is a blend. I'm just thinking myself, I love what I do, but I wouldn't go into what you do. I literally wouldn't. That's just way too much because the different rules and regulations are different every time I'm dealing with a client, depending on where they're from. Uh-uh.
Yeah,
That's why
yeah.
I love working with the women in Canada. Shout out to Canada. Um, what uh, some of the common challenges, not for you as a business owner, but what are some of the common challenges you've seen from your clients who come to you and they seek you out? What are they saying? What is stopping them from being able to export? Or is it labeling? Is it ingredients? What is some of the barriers, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so you touched on some of them,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yeah.
So I know a little
So
bit. I know a little bit.
we do, yeah. So let's talk about labeling. These brands might not know that in Canada their labels need to be bilingual. So they need to have labeling that is compliant with the Canadian standards, right? They don't know that. And that leads into a larger problem. There's a lack of knowledge of the market. Um, let's talk about labeling some more. This space is heavily regulated. And if we look at personal care brands, let's say a skincare brand, if they on their label they said that their product brightens the skin, that claim has to be validated if they want to sell that product in Canada. And they may try to export on their own, not know that, and then get into trouble with Health Canada for making claims that have not been substantiated. So there's that lack of knowledge of how heavily regulated this space is and what they can and cannot say. So if they were to say a product is organic, for example, who verified this?
Oh,
You,
it's that
you,
serious,
it
girl?
is. You cannot say what you want, right? You just can't.
That takes a lot more money and investing than to get people to be able to certify these things to say this is organic. This is, skin lightening, whatever. Like,
That is absolutely correct. So they need to make these investments in order to access the market. And that's some of the conversations I need to have with them, like helping them understand, yes, there's this great market size that you can access and a wider population, but there comes responsibility with that
a
new tool.
huge, huge responsibility. So now it makes me wonder, are any of, countries, islands, continents, or any of them, like their local supports and entrepreneurship or government, are they supporting these importers, exporters?
Yeah,
Are they
so
helping?
it's great. Yeah, like the country I'm from, Trinidad and Tobago, there's a government agency that
Okay.
helps brands that want to access new markets by giving them funding to
Wow.
get testing done and get certification done. So that's
Wow.
really good. Once they could commit and show that they will actually pursue the process, there's
Yeah.
government opportunities and funding for them because at that level, the governments know, yeah,
Yeah, they know at that level, then they're going to benefit too. In the economic development in their country and in their area, it's going to be quite different if they're able to help this person out, which is good. And I'm only asking that question because not all do that. That's why I asked that. It's a give or take it depending on what type of product you have or who you know or what have you already invested. If you invested 20, 30,000, well then yeah, we'll invest in another 20, 30. But if you only invested 10, oh, if you don't believe in yourself, we're not going to believe in you. So that's why I asked that question. And it's very important to have that support before they even get to you because it makes your job a little bit easier when they get to you.
yes, correct. You're very
Now,
correct.
if they don't have that support and they don't have any of that and they don't know any things about labeling, do you still work with the company?
Yeah, so one of the things that we're piloting now at EMSOL is taking a step back and trying to help brands who are not yet export ready get export ready.
Yes, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, because some of them might have an excellent product, but they need to do a little bit more groundwork before they can consider exporting.
Absolutely. Okay, I only asked that question because I know listeners are going to be like, how do I get involved? Like, if I'm not export ready, does she work with me? Guess what, guys? She just answered your question. Absolutely. And I'm excited to see how many people that reach out to you after this podcast. Um, how do you guide businesses in adapting their products and marketing strategies to meet the demands of the Canada market? Because our demands are quite different from the UK, from the US, from like, oh my God, I find the Canadian market, our rules and regulations and policies are quite strict. And if someone's not used to that, how do you take the time and how do you work with them to get them over that hump?
Yeah, so basically what I do with the brand is I sit and prepare like a launch project plan.
Wow.
But we look at the regulations, but to adapt the brand to the Canadian market, for example, I also have some conversations about the softer things. So you might have a product and the ingredients are now compatible with the Canadian market and your label is great, but Canadians care about things like sustainability and
Yes.
recycling. So
Yeah.
then we need to look at your packaging. Is your packaging sustainable? Is this food grade plastic? What else can you do to relate to the Canadian customer? What
Hmm.
cause are you going to support? Are you going to be donating to the food banks? Are you going to donate to some sort of cause? Plant a tree for each sale? Like, what else can you do to communicate your values and find your tribe in Canada?
Oh, I love that. I love that. Where is the social impact at? What are you going to do once you're able to recognize what you're able to do? Your product or your service comes off a little bit easier and more
Yeah, it
acceptable
does.
in Canada. Honest to God, it does. And just to clarify for people, because I know they're probably thinking, well, I don't got a product. Can you let people know that importing and exporting doesn't have to be about product? It could be a service that you're doing.
That is very, very true. Absolutely
It's
true. Because
yeah,
in
and
my
I
case,
go
I'm
ahead. No, no, go ahead.
exporting a service, right? I'm exporting, but I'm exporting a service. So I totally agree with you.
Yeah, people talk about it all the time. They're like, "Oh, how am I exporter? I don't have product." I'm like, "Oh my goodness, we have to change that mind frame. We have to get re-educated people. Let's sit down." People are probably listening and saying, "Well, I just heard her saying she was working in this field for 15, 20 years." But you are an entrepreneur, and we want to know. I want to know. Listeners want to know. What were some of the barriers when you started? girl? Like, what was it easy because you've been in the industry? Was it easy in the beginning because it was a new thing and everybody wanted it, and then it slowed down, or has it been a struggle since you started?
Oh, it's definitely been a struggle. It's been a struggle in that EMSOL is new.
Yeah,
I would have been a consultant with large companies that had a brand behind them. So if I sent a
absolutely.
cold email and I'm like, hey, I'm from KPMG, yeah, someone's going to respond. But if I
Yep.
send an email and I'm like, hey, I'm from EMSOL, they'll be like, who's that? I
Who
never
is
heard of
that?
EMSOL. So, yeah. So it's been a struggle to establish the credibility of EMSOL and have brands be willing to do business with me. The next challenge is I've had the comfort of a paycheck. Like, you get paid, right?
Yep.
As an entrepreneur, you get paid when you get clients.
Yep.
So I need to market this business, follow up with the clients, convert them to actual clients and repeat buyers. Like,
Yes, you do.
that has been a challenge, but
It's hard. That part, I will say, that part does get easier. Um, and it gets easier by building your credibility. As soon as that's done, girl, as soon as your credibility is in there, out there, people are talking, you're good to go. You don't have to keep rebuilding. You don't got to keep networking over and over. Um, and I'm glad that you didn't say right from the beginning, oh, financial. I needed a loan or I needed a grant money, because I find everybody kind of jumps to that first as a barrier. But I wanted to see what you were going to say because, barriers are bigger than financial support. It could be
that's very
networking,
true.
lack of mentorship. It could be so many different things. So I'm glad that you didn't kick off the gate with, oh, I couldn't get a loan. I had bad credit. Like, I'm glad that you came with something like I was hoping you were going to come for. What type of feedback do you get from the clients that you have now? Are they happy? Are they like nervous? Like, what are they saying right now?
Yeah, so like the good thing about it is that because I've tried to tackle the real problems and barriers that they face, clients are saying like, I don't know how I would have done this without you. And
Oh, I
that
love
to
that for
me
you.
helps me understand that I'm solving a real problem. And I love that for them because they may have been doing research on their own before. They've probably been trying, and
Yes, they
now it's
probably
like,
are.
finally, I can get into this new market. I love that. Another
Yeah.
thing that I've heard someone say to me is like, oh my gosh, you've become a friend. Like, I feel like you believe in my brand, right? And because I push them, right? I say to them, you need to fix this, you need to do that,
Yeah.
are you going to do what you need to do? And in having those conversations consistently, we build relationships, right? And they feel like I'm a part of their brand at this
You're a
point.
part of their family at this point. And because entrepreneurship is so lonely, and you know this, girl, that when they get someone like you and you are a giving person, like your personality, I see why they look at you and say, okay, she's just not my consultant. She's a girl of mine. She's a friend. It's needed, and you build your tribe. And what they're doing is building you right in, which is smart on them because they're saying, I'm going to keep this consultant right with me on my journey, because I can just pick her brain here and there, and she ain't going to charge me, which is good because we don't always have to charge for everything, every golden nugget we drop. And it feels good to you to know that you're making an impact, not in just their business, because people forget that when you're impacting someone's business, you're impacting their whole life, their home, their environment. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm going to edit this, but I'm going to get up and change. I don't know why that light went off like that. Hold on. I always think there's a ghost in here every time that happens. It happens like every 3 hours. And I'm like, is there a ghost? Anyways, I'm going to jump back into that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, so you're impacting not only the individual in their business, but you're impacting their household, their community, because when they know better from you, they're going to do better for their community, right? So I'm excited for you I'm excited for you to, gain your tribe too, because you need one. Even though you're a consultant, you need people to be a part of your journey too, right?
Yeah, that
I know
is
you
true.
mentioned earlier about you're doing a pilot project. I'm not going to push too much on that because you're going to be like, girl, I'm not trying to spill the secrets. Like, let me get this framework done first. But what's next for EMSOL? What are you looking to do in the next year to 3 years? In the perfect world, where would you want to be in 5 years?
Yeah, right now, the brands that come in through EMSOL are focused on e-commerce. So we have them place their products on Amazon, on Walmart, and we
Oh,
fulfill
good.
orders for them. We handle the supply chain and the logistics and things like that. But one of the bigger things for me in the next few years, I want to find solid distribution opportunities for these brands.
Mm,
So I need to build those relationships with the who's, those large retail stores or
literally, yeah.
supermarkets that I can go to and say, hey, I have a portfolio of 50 companies. They have excellent sources and different canned goods, and be like, we want to see this on the shelves. How can I get this on the shelves? So for me, the next step is networking with these supermarkets, trying to figure out what do I need to do to get these Caribbean brands on the shelves and not just on the international aisle. I want them mixed
Yes.
across the grocery stores for shoppers that are not just international but also Canadians and everyone else to shop and buy from. So that's the next big thing, like trying to figure out. And it's the smaller convenience stores, the Nigerian stores, the African stores, the Caribbean mini marts, like all of these places. I need to find shelving space for these brands. So from the time they launch into Canada, they are launching into sales and real revenue.
Oh, girl. Oh, my girl. Not just in the international aisle, throughout the whole grocery store, whole
Yes,
aisles. That is
yes.
one of my pet peeves, eh? Like, I'm like, why? Okay. And people say it's great. No, it's not great. You gave us one aisle. Like, are we dead serious? This is great. Why are we in one aisle when the food doesn't even match where it's supposed to be? Because bread should be with breads, cookies should be with cookies. But if you look for any ginger cookies from the Caribbean or coconut cookies, they don't got them in the cookie aisle, which they should be. They got them in the
Right?
international aisle, right? It's weird.
It is, and I feel like it might deter someone from trying it, right? But if it's a snack and it mixed in with the snacks,
If you're
then
gonna
as
buy
you're
it.
shopping for snacks, you just grab, right? You don't have to feel like I'm buying an international snack. This is now a product that is suitable for sale and for consumption. Let's get it sold to persons.
Oh, well, let me know about that journey because I would love to just watch you on that journey of finding out who the who's who are, in Winners, in Target, in Walmart, in Marshalls, in, all these places where they should be hosting, these products, whatever, even services, Staples, and all these places that you're able to really import services from the Caribbean countries, from, the African continent. You could do that through this. So keep me up to date on that, honestly, because that would be number one. That's going to take you to another level in your business, and you're going to need some like staff and partners, and it's going to be.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting you to say that because I don't think ever heard you talk that far ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I haven't looked, like, I haven't discussed it so far yet because it's nerve wracking. I'm like, little old me from this island that you can barely see on a map. Who am I to feel like I can do
You're
this? But
Felicia Smart. That's who you are.
right? So I'm trying to, like, as we said, like, I'm coming through the 16-week program and I'm changing. Like, I'm getting more confident.
Oh
I'm
goodness, yeah.
realizing that once you have a solid plan and you execute that plan, it's very possible. So it's like I'm beginning to get a little bit more bolder and verbalizing my dreams and
Oh, I love
documenting
it.
them. Yeah, and being
Yeah.
like, well, if this person could do it, like all of these products that are in the supermarket right now weren't always there. Someone did it, so why not me?
Absolutely. And why not go to Felicia Smart, and she's going to be that middle person for you and help you through the journey. Because there's one thing to get a hold, like any individual can find out who to go to get into Sobeys or Superstore or Walmart. But that transition of going from a home-based business and have to go through all the legwork to be retail ready is very daunting. So why not go to someone like Felicia Smart with EMSOL Consultant, and she will be with you, walk you through the journey to get you on the other side. So I'm
Yeah.
excited for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. And I'd be like, I know her. Like I know her. I've known her since in 2024. I can't wait to be able to say that about a lot of different people I've met in the last year. And Felicia, you're one of them. I can't wait to say like I've known her for a minute now. I knew she'd be where she's at. Very
Thank
exciting, very exciting. I know that you know, you and your husband, he has have seen very different change in you over the last couple of months. Because I'm
Definitely.
telling you, even how you speak about the business is completely different, and I'm all here for it. Like I really am. Is your husband Trinidadian too?
Yeah, so he's from Trinidad as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I wasn't. I was never ever sure because we never seen him, so I was never sure. But yes, I love that. You know, congratulations on everything you're doing, Felicia. So if anybody was looking to get a hold of you, if they like, you know what, let me see if I can just pick her brain to do a 30-minute consultancy. Let's see if she does this and see what happens. How can, they reach you? How do they find you? Like, throw out all the handles, including your LinkedIn, because your LinkedIn looks good. Very
Oh,
professional.
thank you. Yeah, so you can find me on LinkedIn, Felicia Smart. You can also find EMSOL Consulting on LinkedIn, so you can message me there.
Yeah.
You can also go to my website, emsolconsulting.ca, and you can fill out the contact form on the site, and we'll reach out to you. Or you can just book a consultation right on the site that and pick a time that suits you, right?
Oh, you're able to book your own time.
Yes, you're able to book a time that suits you. We have a free 15-minute consultation. So if you want to just discover whether we can support, that's there. But if you want to dig deeper and like go through your brand, we have a paid consultation option as well on the site.
Have you always done a 15-minute discovery for free?
Yeah, yeah.
I never ever knew that. See, that's what's good about the interviews. I get to find out more intimate, pieces of your guys' businesses. Wow. So you guys heard it here firsthand. Honestly, if you're ready to go into importing and exporting business with regards to product or services, Felicia Smart is the person to go to. Google EMSO Consulting. Go to LinkedIn. Go to anywheres that you're going to look. You're going to find her. I went to Google last night just to make sure that the SEO was good. You're good to go. So it does pop up if you guys put in EMSOL Consulting. And of course, her links will be at the end of this interview. You guys will be able to click on it and find her. Do you have any last minute words for our listeners and our viewers, Felicia, darling?
Yeah, I think like especially as entrepreneurs, I would say whatever your dream is, like pursue it. And do the work that you need to do and just push through.
Oh, I love that. Just do the work that needs to be done and push through. And always be authentic in everything that you do. Because I honestly, Felicia, you have absorbed that like through the whole time I've known you. And like I said earlier, I'm not going to keep going on about it, but I cannot wait to see where you are in the next few years and see where your business is. So thank you for joining me, Felicia. It was awesome. Again, you look beautiful today. Well put together, girl. You look like a bad bitch in business. I love it. I love it. I love it. Anyways, guys, we're at the end of Identity Shift. And if you're sad that we're closing out for now, make sure you come back next week. You're not going to want to miss it. Thanks, guys. Have a nice weekend. Thank you for listening to Identity Shift. See everybody next week.